So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Mm, get rid of that. Right. You can have your feet down on the ground about a hip's width apart, or if they're underneath, crossed underneath your legs, you're going to feel the weight of your legs on your feet. And feel the weight of your hands in your lap, and your shoulders with your hips, and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond, maybe. And then go to the crown and just relax your scalp, your forehead and eyes, back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the temples. Relax your ears. Relax the back of the head. And just release any tension underneath the occipital bone there. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. And put a little bit of length in the back of the neck there. It's just, this way you'll avoid constricting the base of the skull and just allows your chin just to drop a little bit. And then just relax your throat and chest and belly and all of your limbs. Allow your shoulders to drop down as well. And then notice the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And I tell you, as soon as you can't breathe the same way you normally breathe, like right now my nose is totally blocked up, so I'm very aware at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep that I'm not breathing normally. So then you come to appreciate this breath that we take for granted. So just notice the sensation of that air as you inhale and exhale. Be aware of this 360 directional breath as we inhale and exhale. This is all around the chest cavity and the rising and the falling of the belly. And be aware of any potential distractions in your environment. Could be sound, could be notifications, could be smells, could be sensation, vibration, different kinds. People walking around the home if you're in a wooden house. And then just check in with your mind. So just allow all the thoughts to arise and abide. And then just release them. Try not to judge what's in your mind. Try to be objective about what's there. Try not to have any opinions about what's there. And then also try not to follow, we start a story about a situation or a person and we just continue it. It's not really often not even based on fact. And then we get all upset about it. Something is not even real. It's sort of crazy. So then bring to mind all the people of your life. So your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like very much, and then all of, and just remembering that these relationships can be interchangeable. They're not kind of fixed. Like that, the one you don't like isn't going to be, maybe not necessarily going to be that person forever for you. The one you love also, that might change as well. And then the stranger could go either way. So we recognize also that these people are all equal, though. Regardless of how we see the person today, they all just want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we start by thinking this there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. It has two sections, refuge and generating compassion. So the first is we rely upon the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, not as a higher power, who has these methods or this medicine that we can use to purify ourselves. And then imagine Vajrasattva on the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And just imagine he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then, compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. By having a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So this happens instantly, like the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and instantaneously, as fast as you flicking on a switch of light, a switch and the light coming, the darkness of the negativity of our mind is instantly dispelled, just as the light hits your heart chakra. So all the attachment and neediness and anger, bitterness and grudges and disappointments and depression and resentment and jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is, even the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So here we're working at a very more subtle level. So you imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body from the lower orifices. Then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, pushes up and out the upper orifices, and the top part of the head as well, everywhere. And then the light comes and completely blasts all of those delusions. And then this way, we're eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi me piyatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ha hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi me piyatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dina meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mepiyatsa sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mepiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawasidi me piyata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawasidi me piyata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process, and it's really crucial because here is where we make a determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And so really without making a determination like this, without deciding or even having an aspiration, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this aspiration, if you like, to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So Rinpoche used to talk about everything being on the tip of the wishes, the aspiration. So we just think of something, that we'd like to change, even just aspire to change. Turn our mind towards maybe some of our habits. We all know pretty much what we do when we think no one's looking, or even just ruminating away in our mind when we should be concentrating on something else. Anyway, you know your stuff. So you decide what thing you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. and keep it simple. And then Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now we're doing chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. O net of illusion, homage to you, the Buddha's spectacle. Homage to you, the everything of all. O body of wisdom, homage to you. Om Sava, Dhammabhava, Sabhava, Vishuddha, Vajra, A, Am, A. Prakriti, Parishuddha, Savadhamma, Yad Uta, Savatathagata, Jana Kaya, Manjushri, Parisuditam, Up Adayati, Aha, Savatathagata, Sridayam, Hara Hara, Om Hum Sri Bhagavan, Janamurti, Vagishvara, Mahavaka, Savadhamma, Gaganamala, Suparashuddha, Dhammadatu, Janagarbha, Aha. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied, with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble God, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata. I think that was part of that verse, so now we go down. And with a host of other Vajrapanis of varied form, the Lord of the Guyakas, sublime protectors, noble wrathful kings, he then exclaimed this effervescent praise. All right, everyone, let's just have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for all of your own individual teachers to live long. And you all take care of yourselves between now and tomorrow morning, and I'll see some of you then. All right, lots of love.